Take all necessary safety precautions. Use protective gloves and wear safety goggles. Open the gas cap and add 1 can of BG44K Power Enhancer part number 208 to the gas tank. Modern fuels vary widely in quality, resulting in deposit buildup, inefficient ignition and combustion, and power output. In addition, today's small high-output engines are extremely sensitive to deposits that build up in fuel injectors, on intake ports and intake valves, and in combustion chambers. Even small amounts of deposits cause increased exhaust emissions, reduced fuel economy, drivability problems, and engine knock. BG44K safely and rapidly cleans the entire fuel system, including fuel injectors, intake valves, ports, fuel filters, and combustion chambers. The result is a reduction in problems such as engine surge, stalling, stumble, hesitation, and power loss. BG44K technology has been proven to improve combustion quality and power output, restore performance, remove oxygen sensor deposits, clean the catalytic converter, and reduce engine knock and exhaust emissions. Connect the shop exhaust ventilation pipe to the vehicle's tailpipe. Start the engine and bring the normal operating temperature. Then shut off the engine. Hang the tool from the hood. Make sure the hood is secure. Close both ball valves on the BG via supply tool. Pour 1 can of BG Fuel Injection System Cleaner, part number 210, into the supply tool. Modern engines are finely tuned and extremely sensitive to deposits that build up in fuel injectors, intake valves, and ports. Accumulated residues, principally from gasoline, can cause drivability problems, such as hesitation, misfire, stumble, rough idle, excessive fuel usage, and loss of performance. BG Fuel Injection System Cleaner pre-soaks rock-hard deposits and quickly, safely, and effectively removes them from fuel injectors, intake ports, and intake valves. As a result, lost performance is restored. The engine runs smoother and stronger with reduced harmful exhaust emissions. Connect the shop air supply hose to the air pressure regulator located on the side of the tool. Disconnect the fuel line at the fuel rail on the engine. Connect both supply tool hoses using the proper fuel line adapters. Connect hose number 1 to the fuel rail and hose number 2 to the fuel line. In a fuel system with a return line, connect the return hose on the supply tool to the return fuel hose. Open the lower ball valve. Start the engine. And read the fuel pump pressure display on the lower pressure gauge. Turn the knob clockwise on the air pressure regulator to set the pressure on the upper gauge to the same pressure as the lower gauge, which is the fuel pump running pressure. If the fuel service port is being used for this service, fuel pressure must be set about 10 psi below the lower gauge or at the fuel pump running pressure. In a fuel system with a return line, set the fuel pressure on the upper gauge about 10 psi lower than the OEM specification. To start the fuel injection cleaning process, close the lower ball valve and open the upper ball valve. This will stop the fuel supply from the gas tank, but the engine will continue to run on the BG Fuel Injection System Cleaner in the supply tool. When the cleaner runs out, the engine will stall and the fuel pump will shut off automatically. Turn off the ignition. Close the upper ball valve. Disconnect the shop air supply hose. Release the air pressure by pushing the release valve on the supply tool. Push the release valve on the lower gauge to ensure all pressure is released from the tool. Disconnect the fuel lines from the engine. Reset the computer and start the engine. Make sure there is no fuel leak. Test drive the car.